right, several Texas Republicans are now pushing a House resolution condemning the Texas Democratic Party for refusing to stand against blatant racism, really blatant, after a measure came out. Lamar County Democratic Party rejected the resignation. They said, no, you can't resign, to County Chair Gary O'Connor, who tried to resign after referring to South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, called him an Oreo on social media. Joining us now is the lawmaker who introduced that resolution, which has been widely praised in the state of Texas. Congressman Pat Fallon back with us here on the show. Congressman, nice to see you again.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. Good morning, Rob, Rachel.
Yeah, good to see you. I mean, only the Democrats could get away with something like this. So I take us through what's going on here, basically. He referred to him as an Oreo cookie. And Gary O'Connor, I don't see how he can possibly continue to serve after making a comment like that.
Well, Rob, let's break it down into its simplest form. We have a white man who condemns a black man because the black man has a different opinion and worldview of the white man. So the white man insults him with a very, reductive and unforgivable insult, some racial slur.
Racist, yeah.
And, I mean, that's KKK 101. And we called for his resignation immediately thereafter. After about a week of heat from folks exposing him across the country, he resigned, but it was a big shell game. And his precinct chairs didn't accept his resignation, as if we have indentured servitude where he is forced to serve. He doesn't have to serve. He can walk away. He chose not to. So there's folks up in Lamar County that believes it was all a ruse to begin with. It's disgusting.
It's totally disgusting. It's kind of basically this white man happens to be a Democrat, so that somehow makes it okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, apparently, again, if the Democrats, particularly in Lamar County, didn't have double standards, they would have no standards at all. We need to hold everyone to account. So what our resolution does is it condemns racism as a whole. It also condemns the Texas Democratic Party for being radio silent on this entire issue. And it condemns the Lamar County Democrats as well for not taking any action whatsoever and trying to look the other way, and avoid and dodge. When, you know what, I guess maybe it's because Republicans are the party of personal responsibility and the Democrats aren't.
Exactly. By the way, there are many African-American members that Gary O'Connor, has to serve with. I just don't understand how he can serve effectively the people of Texas after something like this happens. And it's right there, literally in black and white for all of us to see, the comment.
And Rob, he meant to cut deep with that. It wasn't like he misspoke.
Exactly.
Or it was just an off-color joke or something he was meaning no harm. He meant harm. He meant to cut very deep. And Tim Scott is a great American. In fact, I talked to him. He was in Texas yesterday, and we visited on this. And he wanted the Lamar County Republicans to know that he really appreciated them standing with him and having his, as we say in the military, having his six, getting his back.
Yeah.
And Tim's just a wonderful man.
I'm glad to hear that, and hopefully something does happen, and the Democrats are really, hopefully something forces their hand, interviews like this and more exposure. But it really is, when I read it, I didn't quite believe it. And then, when I saw what you were doing, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw what he had to say. I want to talk about the border. Obviously, this has been going on now for more than 90 days. Today is actually the 45th day, so it was 45 days ago, late March, that Kamala Harris was asked to manage the crisis down there. As you know, she's done a fabulous job managing that crisis.
Yeah, we haven't seen her yet.
Yeah, she's been there nonstop, right? She's there every single day. No, the situation's a total disaster. Just yesterday in San Antonio, a tractor trailer was pulled over. They found over 100 migrants. Police say they don't have the exact number because many jumped out of the car and they weren't able to apprehend everyone. I think it's pretty clear that the administration just doesn't care about what's going on in Texas and our 3 other border states. But why doesn't the administration just re-implement a Trump-era policy, remain in Mexico, that was clearly working on January 20th?
Rob, they're gonna have to. The migrant protection protocols under President Trump worked, and they worked fabulously well. We have a large border with Mexico, as everyone knows. So you're going to have what President Trump did is he took that flood and he reduced it to a trickle. And then as soon as Joe Biden took over, it became a flood again. And it's not working. You should complete the border wall. You should reinstitute deportations. The wait in Mexico policy worked. What the American people need to understand is there are 34.5 million people that live in those 3 small countries south of Mexico in the Northern Triangle, in El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. That's an inexhaustible supply of human beings. And the drug cartels are winning right now.
Right.
And under Joe Biden, the United States government is a party to and facilitating the largest human smuggling and sexual trafficking operation in the world. Kamala Harris hasn't been down here. Joe Biden hasn't been down here. They're going to have to eventually reinstitute. But what we need, and I want to thank you and Rachel for having me on, is we need to expose this through the media. Otherwise, they'll continue and it'll go on indefinitely.
And we're tight on time, but I want to make everyone aware of this. There are Democratic members of Congress. Henry Cuellar says that the Biden administration is basically gaslighting the American people. Take a listen.
When they're saying that they got everything under control with the unaccompanied kids, if you go to Donna, you have a tent that's run by Border Patrol. Then they set up maybe 5 tents that are run by HSS. So all they're doing is they're moving kids from one tent to the other tent and say, oh, they're not in the Border Patrol, but they're right next door.
And Congressman Cuellar is a Democrat. We're going to invite him onto the show next week. I think that's very impactful as well. Don't forget, these Democrats all have to get reelected in 2022, just like everybody else.
Well, that's one of the reasons why down on the border in Texas, the voters down there are trending Republican because they know the truth. They're afraid of the cartels. They don't like one-party rule, and they don't like Mexico exporting their poverty and their corruption. They've had it. I visited the Donna holding facility. Yeah. It was called cages under President Trump. Now they're holding facilities. The day that we were there were supposed to be 250 maximum capacity in that facility. There were 3,700 unaccompanied minors. Each pod was supposed to have 32. They had 500. It was ridiculous.
Congressman, so good to see you again. Former football player at Notre Dame, and we won't make you do it, but I have heard that you do a Lou Holtz impression that is very, very accurate. We'll have to get to that some other time. But Congressman, great seeing you again.
Thanks, Rob. Take care. God bless.
All right, you too. Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.